We can congratulate our amazing legal team as they walk down the steps.
Questions? Because we got to go get back to work, as you can tell.
How did we find out about the phone conference?
What about the phone conference? Well, it gets noticed on the court's electronic filing, and if you go to our Children's Trust website or Facebook page, we keep people posted on what's happening next. And I don't know if anyone could call into those or not. It's usually for counsel in the court, but
typically they make access available if you request. So we will tell the clerk that people are requesting access and try to get you in a phone line to join the conference.
Oh, wonderful.
Why is it so much easier for you guys to come up with all the information you need in a certain time period, but the federal government, with all their vast resources, are not able to do that?
it's a really good question.
You're going to mind the
Or something.
Because we're small and grassrootsy, we don't have to deal with all that bureaucracy.
But the other thing in response to your question is we want to make sure everything gets out. We don't care what's posted on the websites. We don't care what the public has access to. We want everybody to see everything. And the judge in there was very clear. He's going to allow us to bring the science into the courtroom. We're going to have lots of evidence about what the government knew, when it knew it, how these intervener trade associations influence the government to harm our children. But the science, in the end, is going to determine that we're entitled to win, and we're entitled to a prompt remedy for this federal government to start changing its ways and start thinking about how it's going to affect these kids and future generations.
What is that final appeal statement that he was making?
So, defendants right now don't have a right of appeal because this was a preliminary decision in the case to deny their motions to dismiss. And ordinarily you can't appeal until you have a final judgment, like the end of trial, we have a decision. There's a process where they can ask the court's permission to appeal the motion to dismiss denial now. But Judge Coffin and Judge Aiken would have to grant them that right. Then they would have to go up to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals would also have to grant them that right. So they have two very big hurdles in front of them.
Do you get to depose Tillerson?
We're drafting the notice, and you'll see that coming in the next month.
What is your sense of time frame issue that I believe started the conversation today in terms of having trial by the fall?
We think we can get there, and we're working hard to do that.
And we believe that Judge Coffin will see how reasonable that is, because we're going to work in parallel. We're going to have experts, and we're going to get the science-based discovery out. We're also going to move forward on what the government knew, what the intervener defendants did to stifle government action. We're going to be doing those things in parallel, and that will include the Tillerson deposition.
Do you think they're going to destroy much valuable information in the intervening time?
It would be illegal to do so, so we would assume that they will not.
I mean, even you weren't able to get the judge to really say there should be a hold.
There's a legal hold that's required. The judge doesn't have to say that. It's already in the laws in our country.
How can we best support you? How can we help?
That's a great question too.
Besides getting the word out.
Well, and also by standing here, you're doing a great job,
Yeah.
you're supporting all of us. But if you know what the government knew, if you knew what these intervener defendants or their member companies knew, and can bring us that information, either because it's publicly available or you have a friend or an ex-brother-in-law who knows all those things. We're looking not only for formal discovery, but informal discovery. And that's always very helpful.
I'm curious, you have a lot of work ahead of you, and as you said, you are a grassroots group. You are up against industry giants who have deep pockets. How are you funding all of this work ahead of you?
Yeah, so our Children's Trust, we're a nonprofit, and we have a small staff that works on this, and they get paid a small amount to do so, but we rely on pro bono counsel, like Phil and Dan, and people who donate their time, including law students. We're asking experts to also work for free in this case. But in spite of that, to get this case all the way through trial, do all the depositions, all the hard costs of litigation, that's $1.5 million we're anticipating. So donating to our Children's Trust helps pay for these kids' trial in this case. And then also spreading the word, writing letters to the editor, doing opinion editorials, getting your friends to like our Facebook page and sign up to get our emails. We need this to be spread around the world that these young people are standing up for, because this will be the trial of the century on climate change.
I'm curious, how did you end up in Eugene?
Many of us live here, and a lot of our plaintiffs are Oregon-based plaintiffs. And we were also, early on when the case was filed, challenging aspects of the Jordan Cove project. And we're feeling a lot of really significant impacts in Oregon. I mean, it's one of the most severe cases of ocean acidification in the world off of our coast, and everything else from drought to forest fires and the impacts to these youth. So there was a strong basis for filing in this federal court.
I'm late to this, but Jordan Cove, is that where there's an increased rate for
That's
the
right.
program gas?
And under the Obama administration,
They're trying to get it out, aren't they, right
yeah,
now?
we may see 9 lives on that one. So
Yeah.
We're already past 2. Go for another one.
have a couple more questions, and then the legal team's got to head back to the office.
From press?
I was, from press first. I was confused about the industry's position, though, that they're intervening in the case and they're opposing government submission to facts of climate change, but the industry doesn't produce any facts. And, I don't understand how they have a right to be part of this at all. They're just going to be obstructionists without any accountability.
Look, they wanted to come into, their motive was clear, right? They saw the potential of this case to really hurt the financial interests of their members, which is why they intervened. They came in, they thought they could quickly get the case kicked out on the motion to dismiss, and they'd be out having a party. And what they didn't calculate is that the motions to dismiss would be denied, and they'd be facing full discovery and a trial in this case.
And right now, they're extremely concerned that the documents they have historically, particularly in the 90s and the prior decade, is going to reveal the extent to which they attempted to, and perhaps even successfully, influence administrative policy not to do what the science was telling the administrations to do, not to work to save the lives of these children, but to do a cost-benefit analysis and put jobs ahead of lives. And that was their mantra. Their mantra was to sow denial, and we believe there's a number of documents from these trade associations that will help our case and show that even though the government knew, the government chose to side with trade associations over the youth of America.
That's right. And those are the documents that are not going to be destroyed?
That's right.
From your lips to God's ears.
All right.
I just wanted to add that my children, 2 of the plaintiffs, were able to come today, in part because we went to the Youth Summit in Germany. And you guys have people all around the world rooting for you. We saw firsthand from every fund.
Thank you.
Thanks.